Good morning to all of the participants and my dear friends. It's my privilege and pleasure on behalf of Snehita Wellbeing Cell to welcome you all today for your participation. We are delighted to have our guest speaker, Dr. Mohammad Abir, Senior Counselor, currently at IIT Kharagpur, and our Associate Dean, Student Affairs, Dr. Reddy Sir, our Faculty Advisor, Snehita Wellbeing Sir, Dr. Satyam Agarwal Sir, my colleague, Ms. Bhavna Suri, Counselor, and all of the respected participants. It's a great pleasure for us to introduce our first talk of this semester session on resilience, a positive step towards well-being by our esteemed speaker, Dr. Mohammad Abir. As we all know that the transition phases in campus life comes up with a lot of stressful variables that can contribute to a psychological distress and lower the academic performance level. Despite academic demands, students may sometimes face new stressors at the time of transitions and in adapting to new roles that may have negative effect on their mental health. Thus, in the sense, resilience explains how some individual successfully adapts to the particular situation, while others may found the same situation challenging. So resilience basically has defined as the ability to successfully adapt in the face of stress and adversity. It is important to understand its importance and what psychological factors contributes enhancing this resilience level. Hence, the aim of today's talk is to understand the nature of resilience, its importance and role in our well-being and better mental health. So now, before starting our talk, I would like to hand over to our respected Associate Dean Sir, Dr. Reddy Sir, to briefly introduce about the Snehita Wellbeing Cell and its objective among the audience. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Deepak. Thank you, Dr. Abir, for accepting our invitation for this inaugural talk. So, as part of Snehita Wellbeing Cell, we are planning to have such kind of talks in future. This is first among this series actually. So this step is taken in order to, meet the new circumstances in which, currently we are all having. That COVID, we do not have any, of course, physically some students are there, but majority of the students are outside. So we thought of having a, online lecture series and even interaction, so that the problems of the students, day-to-day problems of the students, or any psychological problems are addressed. So this is, part of that series. Today is the beginning of that series. Actually, we will have more such lectures in future. So, without much delay, I would like to, request Mr. Deepak to take it forward. So, this is going to be there. Only that, we in India, we do have a lot of philosophy to have, balance in our day-to-day affairs, even mental balance or psychological balance. But unfortunately, so unless we read it or we study it or we go through it, so it is the ability we may not be having. So it is part of that actually, just to recall that. And then from my side, just don't be so serious about your results. That is what, even actions and results also. So that will actually demotivate you. So results sometimes will be positive or some negative. So you have to again get back to it and then work out for a, with a positive note. That's what is the message of this one. So this has been there for the long time in India. Don't expect results without expecting results, but work positively with full motivation. But never expect results. So results will come on their own, and then whatever happens, you have to take it, and then again rework. That's what is the was the message. In olden days, it was there. But that comes with practice only. So for that practice, we do need such lectures. So I hand over it to Deepak again to take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reddy sir, for briefing and for your kind words. And now I would like to hand over to Dr. Satyam sir, just to briefly introducing the speaker among the audience. Over to you, Dr. Satyam sir.
Thank you, Deepak. I heartily welcome all of you for this, our first online lecture on this topic. And these lectures we are organizing just to help our campus community to cope up with the stress. And we know these days a lot of competition is going on, a cutthroat competition is going on, and we want all of you to be mentally healthy as well as be motivated in your work. So without further ado, let me welcome Dr. Mohammad Abir KC, and let me introduce him. So Dr. Abir is a counseling psychologist with the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. He was a counselor with the GMCH Calicut and former assistant professor at Little Flower Institute of Social Science and Health, Calicut. He has completed his BSc Psychology from Prajyoti Niketan College, Kerala, and MSc and PhD from Bharatiyar University, Tamil Nadu. His area of research is in the domain of resilience, cognitive behavior, and mental health care in adolescence and early adulthood. He has also been a fellow of UGC-sponsored research project on academic resilience. He was a co-principal investigator of MHRD-funded project on resilience in young adults, and currently he is a co-principal investigator of ICMR project on mindfulness training to improve resilience in Indian college students. Dr. Abir has conducted a lot of training programs all across the nation, and he has particularly held lectures in stress management, building leaders, and so on. And he's also conducting several workshops for the mental health professionals in the area of depression and anxiety disorders. So let me welcome Dr. Abir. Thank you so much for giving this talk on this platform. And I hope your talk will be very beneficial to our students and all the members of our institute. So over to you, Dr. Abir, and thank you so much. Yeah, Dr. Abir, you can take it up from here.
Okay. First of all, I express my deep gratitude to the team of IIT Ropar, for inviting me this program. I'm so happy to see you all. At least we can see your faces. I'm so happy. And especially, I should definitely have to express my deep gratitude to Mr. Deepak Kumar and team inviting me this lecture, and also Dr. Reddy sir and Dr. Satyam sir and all other faculties and students. This is Dr. Abir. I'm from IIT Kharagpur. I'm a senior counselor here. I joined here since 2013. Okay, presently holding the position of senior counselor. So today, this is actually very interesting topic we are going to discuss about resilience. Okay, you all, you probably may. Okay, can you see my slides?
Yes, sir, it is visible, but I think there is a lot of echo. I think somehow the sound modality is a little bit echoic, I think. So it's
sound
little,
is not clear. Maybe
right.
You may have to put the mic close to your mouth or something like that. Some measures.
Sound. just AC question. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, now it is clear. Yes.
It is very clear now, sir. Right.
Okay, thank you so much for reminding me.
It's all right, sir.
Okay. So this is a very interesting topic about resilience and positive steps towards well-being. Okay. This topic is actually, first of all, it's bring from the, I mean, this is not I'm the person is actually given the topic. This is actually brought from the IIT Ropar itself. Deepak only has requested me to deliver this talk. But definitely, this is my area. I'm working last 10 years in this area. So all of you know about the resilience. It means this is nowadays most of the people is actually looking for this term because everybody know, yes, there are psychological stresses, psychological conflict, and the depression, anxiety. All this is actually one side is there, and another side is actually the resilience, coping, stress coping. I mean, strength, hardiness, lot of other positive side. Okay, so our research is actually what we found that, I mean, just enhancing, enhancing our skills or enhancing our strength, that will mitigate, that will prevent developing any kind of disease. Okay, so there are a lot of studies has happened about this resilience field. So I'm just sharing some of the interesting concepts. I mean, one of the some of the applications part we can also use it, the resilience factors. Okay, so that's actually today our discussion. First of all, we should know about what is resilience. So what is resilience is actually, resilience is the ability to bounce back in the face of stress, trauma, any kind of adversity. Okay, so we have seen there are a lot of people, those who are struggling in their life, but the later somehow they are actually developing their skills and they are showing good in the society, and they are showing a lot of accomplishments, and there are a lot of happiness in their face. Okay, and there are people, those who you may have seen that there's those who are cancer with resilience, or HIV/AIDS with resilience, or people those who are in any kind of trauma or any kind of this kind of natural stresses like tsunami or earthquake or flooding or anything like that, if happened, after that the person is actually somehow they are coming back to their life. Okay, so that is actually the speciality, that is actually the strength, that is actually to call resilience. Okay, so resilience is not like a very dichotomous, dichotomous in the sense like it's not like there is no resilience, there is a resilience. So resilience is already established, already it is there for everybody, including us, including me, everybody. So, but only we need to understand how it is actually, how much it is there, how much it is, what is the status of resilience of your, okay, this is actually we need to understand. Okay. So this is actually, of course, that Stephen Hawking, and Dr. Hawking was around 21. He's actually diagnosed motor, disease, and all these medical experts is, trying to say that there is no any scope his life. I mean, he might not live more long years, but despite all these, conditions, astonishingly, he was showing that lot of, courage, and finally he became one of the biggest, scientists in the world. So what is happening this kind of people, what is happening this kind of legends? Okay, so this is actually the question. Okay, how this is happening for some people? Okay, the same time we have seen several people, those who are struggled, they are actually undergone any kind of psychiatric disease or other issues, and they cannot able to come back with their life. Okay, so some of the people it is actually working, some of the people it is not working. So why this is actually the question is coming up, like some of your friends or maybe some of the our students also asking, sir, how will I improve my skills, how will I become more strong, or how will I become more strength, or how will I cope up my problems, if anything happen in my life, how will I cope up my problems? So the answer is actually you need to build your resilience skills. Okay, so how to build those resilience skills, that is actually the session today. So we are working in the college setup. We have seen there are a lot of counselors is actually appointed in a different counseling centers. Okay, in India. Okay, what is actually our job roles? Why it is actually this many of
I mean, government, even government and other organizations. Okay, why everybody is actually interested? Why everybody is actually interested about this particular field? Okay, how, why they are actually giving so much of importance about this counseling center? Okay, so that is actually we need to understand that. Okay, because in this college years, I mean, there are when we have seen, there are definitely there are school counselors are there, but compared to the school counselors, we can see now government or stakeholders or policy makers are giving much importance to the college years. Okay, the main important thing is actually in this age, this this 15 to 24 age, this age group is actually is a developing stage. Definitely they are highly vulnerable to to take, highly vulnerable to have any kind of disease. Okay, most of the psychiatric or psychological disease is actually manifesting, first manifestation in this age. So in this age, definitely some kind of training program, some kind of skill development program is actually necessary to develop their resiliency skills. Okay, so the most common life stresses for the students is actually pressure to perform, heightened aspiration for achievement, family and other expectations, and growing competitiveness, and financial constraints, and relationship issues. So this is the most common stresses is happening in our children, our kids, I mean our college students. Okay, there are a lot of pressure from their for better achievement in their academic skills or in academic achievements. And there are a lot of family expectation. Yes, you probably have seen, it's not only family expectation, we sometimes we would say that's a village expectations. Some of the village people are also expecting, yeah, your son is actually studying in IIT, so definitely he will come, when he comes back, he will come with a lot of crores. Okay, this is the situation. So lot of expectations from the family side and other side is actually impacting the student's life. And growing competitiveness and financial constraint, we have seen there are a lot of students are struggling with their this kind of socio-economic status background. When they're coming to IIT, they can see two type of people. Someone is actually, they have a lot of all the facilities, resources are there. Some of the students do not have it. And also we have seen students, those who are definitely the age-related relationship issues, relationship problems, okay, breakups, all these kind of life stresses is actually affecting the student's life. And somehow this will creating further developing or exacerbating any kind of developing any kind of depression or anxiety or any kind of psychological or psychiatric disorders. Okay, so these are the most common life stresses among students. So once this actually this kind of stresses may happen to everybody or happen to everybody, in the sense, if it is happen doesn't mean that everybody should go for depression. So it depends on their ability, it depends on their strength, it depends on their resilience. That's what this actually topic is here, it's coming up, why we should know about their life stresses. So all these stresses are there, but in the presence of all these stresses, we have seen students are actually showing in a good achievements in their college and their personal life. Then the question is coming up, how to become more resilient? Okay, this is not only asking, this lecture is actually not only for the students. I mean, if you for the lecture, it is actually for everybody. How to become more resilient? This is a very big question. There are a lot of research is actually happening in this area, how to become a resilient. One interesting study, we can say that there are some of the well-being factors. Okay, there are some specific well-being factors are there. If these factors, if you enhance these factors, definitely this will be increase your resilience. Okay, so we will discuss that here. What are the well-being factors is actually become more resilient? So one of the interesting study he's conducted, Martin Seligman, he's actually one of the pioneers and one of the founders of positive psychology. He found there are 5 pillars, 5 specific factors contributing to resilience. Okay, this is a very easy, when you're reading or when you're attending my session, you can understand this is a very easy. But what this is important is actually these 5 factors like P means positive emotions, E means engagement, R means positive relationships, M means meaning, A means accomplishments. So all these factors, if everybody have these factors, definitely. So, but these factors, the intensity or this the severity of these factors may change. Okay, if you are actually high on positive emotions, high on engagement, or high on positive relationships, or high on meaning in your life, or high on accomplishment, the condition you're supposed to be, you will be very happy, your well-being score is very high. So this is actually the study conducted by Martin Seligman. Now most of the colleges, their policy makers also think about these factors, how to improve these factors in their campuses, okay, across the world. So this is actually very interesting study. So these are the factors. If someone is actually these well-being factors, if it is high, then the person is supposed to be resilient. So we just go with each one. So first one is actually positive emotions. Okay. So positive emotion is actually, we all have these emotions. Okay. Suppose you just introspect yourself. I mean, how many of you guys are actually just smiling every time when you see anybody in front of you? How many are taking it, any kind of sort of stressful situation is happening up, just like you're thinking like, okay, no problem, this I can manage, I will see it. Lot of optimism, lot of hope. Actually, that expressions about this hope, expressions about this optimistic thoughts, that is actually positive emotions. This is not like suddenly it is actually developing. You need to develop from your house. If you're a student, when you're going out from your hostel, you can see anybody in the hostel, and maybe your hostel mate, or can be any staff, just smile at them. So the way you are smiling at them, so it creates a lot of happiness, not only you, not and others too. So this kind of happiness, this kind of developing, this kind of enhancing your positive emotions is actually one of the important factors of well-being. Definitely it will contribute to your resiliency building. So this is actually very important thing. Second is actually the engagement, the way you are participating. So participating any kind of activities. So everyday basis, you have some score in positive emotion, some score in engagement. So engagement is actually, you can engage any kind of sort of activities. That can be sport, that can be art, that can be cooking. Now you can see a lot of YouTube videos are there. Yeah, people are actually making some cooking and they are posting. I mean, it's not necessary that you have to only focus your academics. Apart from the academics, definitely some of the students are interested in some kind of project, some kind of research work. That is also engagement. Or some of the students is actually, apart from the regular their academic schedule, they are working other activities. Okay, or they are doing some kind of social service. So all kind of this kind of engagement, like than sitting in idle, than sitting in your room, actually just coming out, just talking with your friends, just interacting with your friends, just playing with your kids, just play with your pets. Okay, all these activities actually definitely definitely stimulate your positive neurotransmitters and positive hormones. That itself is actually creating a high on your happiness score, as well as resilience. Okay, so this is very important. And the relationships. Okay, so this is also very important concept. Relationship is nowadays this is going to be a discussion. Earlier years, this was not that much of a discussion, because people are very related, people are is actually very connected. Nowadays connection is somehow is actually reducing. Now current COVID-19 situation, there are a lot of people are struggling because of they may be in isolated rooms, they may be quarantine. All this kind of is happening. So they cannot able to spend their time with your family members, or some people are working in distant. All this is actually happening in the situation. Okay, so relationships is actually one of the important factors we need to build. So every time, if it can be faculty, if it can be students, or if it can be anybody, just think about how much time I spent my time with my relatives, my time with my family. So a couple of hours, you should be completely away with what are you doing at present. You just be in a you should be in the relationships. So this is actually very important. Okay, so understanding the family relationships is also very important. So students also, I'm requesting, when you are in a hostel, when you are in a hall, you can just ring your family members. You just call your mother, you just call your father, and ask some open kind of question, open-ended kind of questions. Just ask, how are you doing, instead of okay, are you doing, are you taking your food, or are you taking your proper routine. Instead of that, just ask some open kind of questions. How are you feeling now, what are you doing now, or how's your life. This kind of open kind of questions in everyday basis, if you could able to make it, it's actually build your relationship. That itself is actually mitigating to develop any kind of disease. This is actually, I'm telling you, just for your well-being. This is actually, I'm just telling you, just preventing to develop any kind of vulnerability, any kind of mental disease. And meaning, this is also very important. Meaning and purpose in life. Every person should have a purpose and meaning in their life, every day basis. Okay. So one interesting study, I can tell you, one of the important researcher, or he's actually in the psychology field, Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl is actually a neurologist. I mean, he's actually have done. He joined the psychology field, but he's actually, his earlier career, he was actually, I think he was a neurosurgeon. And this guy is actually he was in a Jew. Somehow, because of that Hitler era, he was in a concentration camp. From there, he was facing a lot of struggling in their life. I mean, even he's a doctor, he was there, and he actually was, his whole family members, I think his father, mother, sister, and all his family members actually murdered in that, by this in that era. And only he was surviving. And what he was trying to say, that from there he himself said that I couldn't find, or I couldn't feel to commit suicide, because I am thinking that there should be, or there will be a day, or some day will come, maybe tomorrow, or maybe next week, or maybe next years, one day will come, the life will change. So this itself is actually make him to sustain his life, make him to live his life. And also from there, he actually trying to understand what about his other inmates, what they are doing it. And he found two type of people. One kind of people is actually they are thinking there is no meaning in their life. They're just mechanical life. Okay, and among that group, he have confronted several suicides. Okay, because there is nothing in my life. I am in this concentration camp for a long time. I'm struggling, and there are a lot of pain. I cannot actually tolerate this pain more. Okay, so this is actually one type of category people. Another type of category people is actually thinking about, there are a lot of hope in their life. They are doing their jobs, they are struggling, they are actually tolerating their pain, and thinking about, yes, there is a life, something will change, or there is a purpose in my living, there is a meaning in my life. So these people, such group, later after this concentration camp and everything was ended, he found such group is actually, even their past, compared to their past background, they were successful their later life. They were showing a lot of hope. They were showing a lot of running business, farming, or any kind of agriculture, all kind of stuff is actually happening. So this two type of people, why he is actually interested, because he's saying that a meaning and purpose in our life is actually a stimulating factors, actually itself is like you make you more strong. Okay, so everybody, every student or every faculty or every person should have some meaning and purpose in their life. Anything, if you are interested to be a musician, or if you are to be interested in any kind of activity, you just try your maximum potential and just work on it. So every day you think, yes, there is a meaning in their life, and that itself is actually you think about today. So today, how much I working on it? So how much I'm spending my time today? So is it productive? So in this way, just do some kind of self introspection itself, creating a good meaning in their life, and they can actually be a better life, and they will definitely improve their resilience skill. Finally is actually accomplishments. So accomplishments is actually a kind of feeling successful, or feeling say, this is actually I have done, so this is actually I have done, I'm completed, this kind of feeling. So we have there are a lot of work as an academician or in academic students. You have confronted a lot of studies you have to complete, a lot of projects you have to complete. Or for example, say if you are in a PhD scholar, your work will be after 1 year, 2 year, or if you're sending one publication paper, it will take around 6 months or in 8 months or 1 year. So the accomplishment is actually maybe very far. So what I'm trying to say that even the small accomplishments, so same accomplishment, same kind of goal, when you're setting a goal, make it a small goal. So each goal, this is all everybody knows, yes, I have to break my goals. But what I'm trying to say that in each goal, a small goal, maybe just today you are searching in a first some journal or you are reading in a one journal, you just celebrate your accomplishment. Yes, I have completed that. So just experience that celebration inside. Yes, this is I have done today. So in this way, when you do every day, just like you are giving some air to your bicycle, like that, every day you are actually giving some kind of accomplishments, a small, even a small activity, it will help you to bring your resiliency skill. I mean resiliency score. So this is actually very important. So all these well-being factors, okay, these positive emotions, engagement, and relationships, meaning in life, and accomplishments, all these 5 pillars, just you introspect your day. For example, if it, today, just think about what is your meaning score, what is your accomplishment score. So what you have done today morning, even if you have prepared a small meal in your home, if you have prepared a small breakfast, okay, that is also an accomplishment. So in this way, we are just celebrating our accomplishments. So in this way itself is actually making you, it will increase your well-being scores. So this is actually nutshell about this well-being factors. Definitely will bring your happiness, but this is not much enough. So I wanted to give you more, apart from these well-being factors, there are one of another important factors is actually we need to concern about it. The second important factors, actually, today my lectures is actually definitely about the resilience building factors. So first I talk about 5 well-being factors that contributing to resilience. Okay, now we have to focus about our thoughts. Okay, so all our diseases, all our psychiatric issues, the most trigger or most kind of thing is aspects about our thoughts. Okay, the management of our thoughts. Okay, we have seen there are a lot of people are struggling with their thoughts. They are getting a lot of negative thoughts. Okay, so negative thoughts is one of the well-being factors we have discussed about all these 5 pillars. And second is actually management of automatic thoughts. So automatic thoughts itself is actually maybe new for this concept is very new for you. Automatic thoughts is just like any kind of thought is pop up in your mind. Suppose now you're attending my session. Okay, this is actually, yeah, this is very simple, or this is very hectic, and this is very hard. I cannot understand this. I think this is very tough. Or I think this is very easy. Yeah, I think this is very interesting. Any kind of thoughts is actually coming your mind, that is actually automatic thought. Okay, and that can be something positive, that can be negative. So some other time you may get a kind of thought just like that: I'm wasting my time, I am worthless, I am hopeless, or things are not working, and he's not good, she's not good, that person is not good. So in this kind of thoughts also may happen in your life. Okay, so all these thoughts somehow is actually disturbing you. Sometimes you yourself is actually thinking that you are not that much of good. Okay, when you're interacting with your friends or when you're interacting with your family members, you're just avoiding them. Yes, I'm not that much of good to interact with people. When you are in a class, you are getting automatic thoughts. Okay, just keep quiet. That's the best thing. So you are keeping quiet. Okay, you're acting depends on what kind of thoughts is coming your mind. Okay, and sometimes you go to the examination halls, you are getting automatic thoughts. No, I didn't prepare well. Okay, so once you're writing the examination, again you are getting thoughts. This is very tough. I can't write it. Okay, so any that can be depends on the situation, or that can be any kind of triggers creating any kind of thoughts in our mind, because our mind is in that is our mind, that is our system. Okay, but too much about negative thoughts about you or about others is actually making a problem. Okay, making a problem in the sense it will actually developing a kind of any kind of psychiatric disease. The most common negative thoughts is actually creating depression. So why I'm telling you, why I'm giving you much attention depression, because depression is actually the highest number of cases we have seen our college mental health campuses. Okay, depression, and then after the depression, definitely it's an anxiety. So depression, and also why depression is very important. Of course, you know that the suicide is one of the important causes about suicide is actually major depression. Okay, major depressive disorders. So depression is actually is a very important fact. How the person is getting depressed, there are a lot of factors are there, definitely biological factors are there, but I'm just focusing the psychosocial factors here. Management about our thoughts. Okay, what kind of automatic thought is actually happening in your mind. Okay, so this itself is actually just evaluating your thoughts itself is actually just aware about your thoughts. Maybe you are getting aware, yes, I'm getting some negative thoughts. Oh, yeah, I know this is just a thought. That itself is actually having in a high impact on your emotions and your behavior. So emotions is just like, you are getting a thought, yes, you had a small interaction with your friends. Suddenly you couldn't be able to properly answer something, and you are getting an automatic thought, yes, I didn't answer properly. So what do you feel? You feel sad. Okay. And what your behavior? So next time, if it is a very negative, next time you avoid that group itself. Or if it is actually very positive, you again think that's okay. That time I was in another mood. I think I can talk today more. Okay. So in this way, just evaluating your thoughts itself is actually creating a lot of importance. Okay, in your resilience skills. Okay. So here I just introducing you, recognize your thoughts as a transient mental events. Okay. So if you understood that what is automatic thoughts, now you need to understand that your thoughts is just a transient mental event. It will happen. Okay. You are getting a lot of positive thoughts the same day. Okay. But the same positive thoughts, you are not giving much attention. But something is a negative thought, you are giving more attention. And most of these thoughts are not fact. It is just a thoughts. So many students are struggling about their thoughts. This is a predominantly because people find it hard to see themselves and their thoughts are separate. So somehow we need to separate this, because today you are getting an automatic thought, yes, my presentation is going to be bad. Okay. So what is in evidence on it? There are a lot of factors is actually, depends on your presentation. If you didn't prepare anything, yes, definitely your automatic thoughts may be true. That also can happen. But you are presenting last 5 days, last 5 times you presented well. Okay. Then what about today's presentation? I think I can make my presentation well. So in this kind of, constructive, in evaluating your thoughts, okay, this itself will actually making you more strong, okay, and more confident and happy life. So evaluating your thoughts and understand your thoughts and your reality is different, and giving not some of the negative thoughts, just you should need to label it, this is just a negative thought. Okay, I will come back, I will go forward next slide, you will understand more about it. Thoughts can lead to emotion and urge. For example, the thought, I have forgotten my keys, may be followed by a feeling of anxiety and the urge to check our pockets. So we have seen this is a very common situation. If you get any thought, what I'm trying to see, if you get any kind of thought is actually related to your emotion, that is anxiety, and urge or behavior to check your pockets. So this is actually very connected. Okay. Let's see the other examples. I am worthless, maybe followed by a feeling of sad, urge to continue inactive. Okay, we have seen now with COVID-19 situation, most of the students are in a home, and they are actually somehow may or may not lost their schedule, and they are actually sitting in idle, and they are thinking that, no, I'm doing nothing, I'm worthless, I can't do anything, I can't plan anything. Okay, again they feel sad, again to continue the same inactive. Because of the inactive, again they feel more worthless, again feeling sad. So this working like a cycle. This book is very difficult, maybe followed by a feeling of anger and urge to stop reading. Okay, you're simply opening a book. That is not like that much of stimulating. It's just like you're opening a YouTube channel. Okay, but if you spend some time on it, the reality may be different. But you are getting an immediate negative thought. No, this book is very tough. Okay, you're just believing your automatic thought. Your automatic thought just a response about the situation that may or may not be true. Okay, I am unlovable may be followed by a feeling of sadness and avoiding interacting with friends. So this is also very important. There are a lot of people, you like it. There are a lot of people you may not like it. So everybody will may not love you. Okay, everybody will love you. So in this kind of system, we need to understand that. So, but still, the person simply think that I am an unlovable person. He having a loving parents. He's having loving friends. Okay, this is actually very common. We have seen some of the people, those who are breakup. Okay, the boy or girl would say that, sir, actually I am an unlovable person. Nobody likes me. Okay, even someone is actually brought that girl or brought that boy to a counseling center. I mean, along with them, they're reaching to the counseling center itself. Is actually they're helping them. Even I have seen such students are helping such students, write their assignments because they are in a kind of stress. They are in a kind of depressed mood. Somehow they're helping their colleagues, batchmates, just helping their work. That should not miss deadlines. Okay, so if the person is completely believe that I am unlovable, this is actually a completely distorted way of thinking. It is actually not at all fact. Okay, only one person she had a relationship breakup doesn't mean that life is actually gone, or the person is completely had a stop one relationship. One person is actually not at all. It's we need to accept it. So this is also happening because of this kind of automatic thoughts, because just the person is only thinking about a particular situation and she's or he is getting repetitive thoughts, negative thoughts about that situation. It's creating feeling extremely sadness and avoiding interacting with friends. Okay, so gradually the person is developing in a kind of depressive features. Okay, so this is actually not only these three situations. Why I am telling you, my actually intention just to make you understand that your thought is actually have a lot of power. This may create your emotions. This will create an urge behavior. Okay, so we need to understand how much we should give importance about our negative thoughts. Okay, right. Okay, if these negative thoughts are not true and repetitive, so what we will do? So this is actually we need to understand that. If the thoughts are simply coming up, sometimes we have seen some of the students are saying, sir, I'm very disturbed. I'm getting a lot of thoughts. Sometimes I'm getting magical thoughts like if I do particular activity, something will happen to my family. Okay, because we have seen people, those who are OCD features, obsessive compulsive disorder features, they have such kind of strange thoughts. Okay, or the people are getting a lot of sexual negative thoughts. It's just happening in their mind, or sexual images, disturbing images, or any kind of such kind of repeating images or thoughts is actually disturbing the personal life. Okay, so if this kind of thing can happen most of the people, only the difference is actually the frequency. If the frequency is very high and it is disturbing their personal, occupational, and their academic life, then only it's will coming into the consideration for a treatment or anything like that. But the frequency is very less. If it is coming in a mild frequencies, okay, if it is coming in a very low frequencies, just understanding this lecture today that itself will make you to think, yeah, this can be an automatic thought, so why should I will not give much attention on it. But still, if you are giving much attention about that thoughts again will come. This is also definitely, when I am asking you don't think about rose at present. So what will happen? Still, you guys, I think now roses, it's that flowers is actually came in your mind. So once you are giving much attention about these negative thoughts, then thoughts is actually repeating. Okay, so if the automatic thoughts are not true and repetitive, what you're supposed to do? First of all, you can simply try to label it. This is just a negative thoughts. Okay, this is nothing is going to happen. For example, suppose I can tell you one example. Once you are actually, you are calling your friends or friend. Okay, or I can give you one name, Mr. Raju, or Mr. Raju is actually calling his one of his friends. Okay, his friends is her name is actually Neetu. Okay, so Raju is calling Neetu. Okay, so Raju is actually thinking that she's not attending his call. Okay, then suddenly, Raju is thinking that what happened to her? Yes, something troubles she may have happened. Okay, he's actually thinking a lot about such situation again and again. Yeah, something is going to happen. Something is going to happen. He's getting too much worry about it. Okay, but the fact is actually nothing happened. Okay, unnecessary. He was thinking about something happened. So this is not one single incident. We cannot go, this is a negative automatic thoughts. There is a chance it may happen, or maybe happen also. But still, if it is continuously happening several kind of situation, then we need to understand I have a tendency to think in this way. So I just leave this is just a negative automatic thoughts. Or otherwise, you have to make an explicit the evidence that they are false and then replace them with something positive. Okay, suppose you have a examination tomorrow and you are getting negative automatic thoughts. Yes, yeah, I didn't prepare well. So just introspect yourself. What are the chapters you have gone through? What are the things you have gone through? It doesn't mean that you have to remember each and everything, but somehow I was, yeah, this is I know, this is I know, and let's see. I think 60 or 70% I know about it. I will write my examinations. So just kind of introspection itself will make things change. Your experience will change. Your emotions will change. So why I'm telling you all this is actually important means if you wanted to build your resilience, if you wanted to build your strength, you need to build this kind of abilities too. So this is another example. Raju is anxious about his next interview just because he did not do well in one of his past interviews. So think about it. This guy is actually very much anxious because he thinks last interview was placement interview was not well. So he's actually thinking, yes, next interview definitely is going to be in trouble. But the reality for him, when he's trying to evaluating, he found that only last interview was in trouble. Most all his previous things, everything was good, everything was fine. Okay. So then why should I need to worry about upcoming interview? Last interview may be a situational, maybe any other situational factors also will affect our achievement. It will affect your performance. But suppose his thoughts is actually the truth. I mean, that has also happened because he's getting this thought. Yes, it's not only the last interview, previous interview is also the same. So suppose your negative automatic thoughts are true, what needs to be done? So what you have to do be done? So you have to focus. For example, if the Raju is actually very anxious about his interview because he lacks communication skills. Suppose, okay, he thinks that I need to improve my English, speaking English skills, or I need to improve my communication skills or speaking in English. Okay, so I am lacking that, so definitely I will fail the interview. So this is a fact for him. This is a reality for him, and that company is also looking for a person who can write or speak or who can have a good communication skills in English. Okay, so in this way, the his negative automatic thoughts also true, or as well as actually his reality is also true. Okay, then what we have to do? Simply we have to work on the problem solving strategies. Okay, and he has to work where I am lacking, so he has to work on it. Someone is actually lack of English communication skills, what he have supposed to do? He has to work different other learning English and learning different aspects of English. I mean different joining English courses or speaking English with his friends. So all these abilities, this is just an example. So all these abilities he has to improve. Okay, if the thoughts is actually true, if the negative thoughts are true. Okay, so this kind of situation will happen in any other situation to your family members, your interaction, your social skills. Yes, I am very shy. Yes, I cannot talk. So you need to improve your that communication skills. You need to improve your assertiveness skills. So some of the things we need to improve simultaneously, because your thoughts may be true in that sense. So this is actually finally our discussion. What about automatic thoughts associated unfortunate incidents, trauma or adversity or major stress? So something happened, okay, or we can say there is an accident. Accident happened. What I am going to do? Yes, I have lost something. I have lost. I have lost my relatives, my mother, father, or anybody, okay, or my wife, or my kids, or my friend. It's lost, okay. So definitely this is a trauma, okay. This is an adversity, or this is a major stress. So how to manage? And you are getting a lot of automatic thoughts associated with, okay. So how to manage this? So this is also, we need to, the discussion is actually coming up about gratitude, okay. Excuse me. So automatic well-being factors we have discussed, different type of automatic thoughts we have discussed, and all we understand that. So, but something I have lost, I should be in trauma, I should be sustain my life in whole life in that way. No, I need to again step back, I need to come back in my life, okay. That is actually the resiliency. Resilience is the ability to bounce back in the face of trauma or adversity. So I need to come back. So what are the advanced techniques, what are the things I need to learn, okay. Several people are struggling in their life by facing serious life challenges, adversity, diseases, and other serious life stresses related to job, family, and finances. Okay, so in this kind of situation, we have seen some of the people we will discuss, and some of the people blame themselves, blame their parents, blame their teachers, blame their environment, blame their faith. We have seen several people in that category. They always blame themselves. Always, yes, my school was not good, or my parents is actually not that much of income they're having it, or my parents was didn't send me a good schools, okay, or I don't have a computer, I don't have a laptops, I don't have this system or that system, okay. That's what is actually creating this thing. So, but we can understand that these facilities, whatever you are getting, these facilities, whatever you have at present, that still do not, such access, such resources, you do not have the same for others. Many people do not have such resources. So you are actually more, you need to feel gratitude yourself. Okay. So in this kind of situation, if anything, you have lost something, the moment you need to think about what you have, okay, that itself is actually making you be more quiet, you be more strong, you be actually thinking about what are the other challenges I can focus on it. With existing, we cannot completely change your situation. Something happened, your accident, something happened, your leg, or something happened, any of your things. Sometimes we cannot actually bring back the same, but still with presence of all these things, we have seen there are people, those who are people with a disability, how they are actually surviving their world. They're looking for some kind of opportunities they can focus on it, okay. Somehow they wanted to learn about it. We have seen our friends, those who are struggling the same, but they are showing a lot of happiness in their face, okay. But we have compared to them, we have all the resources, but we are actually still blame ourselves. So in this kind of situation, we need to think about our gratitude. So gratitude is also one of the important positive factors, positive psychology factors, is actually building your resilience. Okay, so this is itself is actually mitigate to become more, any kind of depression or anxiety. So always you need to think about what you don't, instead of what you don't have, you have to think about what you have. Okay, this will have an impact. So practicing and facing what we have in each moment will make you happy, less stressed, more balanced, reduce the dissatisfaction, and bring more happiness in your life. Okay. So this is actually my session today. So I talk about resilience. What is resilience? It means. Then I talk about, what are the factors contributing to resilience? Okay. Then I talked about well-being factors. There are 5 well-being factors. That is actually positive emotions and engagement, relationship, meaning in life, accomplishments, okay, and plus management of our thoughts, our negative thoughts and positive thoughts, okay. is actually creating, is actually building resilience. This is actually the nutshell of my session today. Thank you. If you have any questions, please ask now.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abhi, sir. Now this session is open for questions. I would like to request each one of the participants to please hand over your queries. Okay, sir, some of the one of the participants have asked, sir, what can be the cause of frequent mood swings?
Okay. Mood swings is actually, this can be, this is a very important thing. We have seen several students are struggling with the mood swings. Okay. So we have to understand is actually not only mood swings, maybe but because we do not know the particular student those who ask these questions, but generally I can say that mood swings is actually will happen. So we have to find some kind of activity will enhance your mood. I'm just telling you a small example. Suppose you are thinking, yes, I am feeling down at present, so I don't feel to do any kind of thing. So generally we can say that there is a particular behavioral activation thing. So behavioral activation means some of the behavior you have to choose. Okay, that can be anything. For example, you have a lot of pending. For example, you have a you have washing your clothes, or you have a writing something your email or something your friend, or you just go out, you just go out for a play or anything like that. Just pick some of the activities simply randomly. You can just pick one and work on it. Your mood will change. This is a generally I can give you the answer. But if this mood swings is actually one of the symptoms is happening for person those who are undergoing any kind of psychological issues. So for such cases, we need to understand more about what are the other factors actually contributing the person is mood swings. But otherwise, I'm just telling you that some of the activity itself is actually change your mood. This is actually the solution I can tell you at present.
Okay, sir, and how to manage yourself when you are negative about yourself, and how to feel good about yourself?
Okay, Deepak Kumar, can you repeat the question again?
Yes, sir. One of the participants have asked how to manage yourself when you are negative about yourself. So when in terms of, I think, self-image, and how to feel good about yourself.
Okay, right. So this is actually, this is also, I can say, not a particular question. This is also very common. We will get negative thoughts about ourselves. Yes, I'm not that good, or I'm not that much of good. Okay. So, and this kind of situation is actually happening because you are getting a lot of negative automatic thoughts, and that is actually negative, and that is actually happening about yourself. Okay. So once you are getting automatic thoughts, once you are getting this kind of self-talk or negative self-talk in your mind, so you have to think about, is it true? Is it really true about it? Yes, I'm that much of bad about me, or I don't have any skills. Okay, that itself is actually giving you some other positive thought. Yes, I have done this, I have done that. Okay, I'm just giving you more examples. Someone is extremely thinking that I'm completely hopeless, nothing in my future, and nothing is there. I'm completely worthless. Yes, there is no benefit, nothing. I'm completely a waste. Okay, this kind of extreme kind of thinking. Still, you think that, can you help someone? Can you do small help someone? Can you just help any rickshaw wala? Can you help anybody? Just simply just help them. So that itself is actually you can understand you're still worthy. Okay, can you participate in any social activities, any kind of this kind of, there are a lot of social activities are there, just helping people. Okay, can you participate that? Then you need to understand you're more worthy. Okay, so some of the activities you need to work on it. Some of the thoughts are you just leave it. This is just a negative thought. Still you have a lot of words, lot of hopes, lot of things you having inside. So you need to think in that line.
The next query, sir. Someone out of our participant have share his state of thought that yesterday someone asked, should I tell my friend about this job opportunity? What if he succeeds and I fail? And what should I reply? So he has simply shared a state of thought.
Okay. I mean, the particular interview is coming up, whether I should attend or not attend. That job.
Right.
Okay. Actually, this is a very, very funny question. But still, I'm telling you, question is actually relevant. When someone is calling, maybe you also have come across this kind of questions. Your friends are calling. Okay, I'm okay for it. Should I go with? Okay, what I have to say. Okay. So if that is actually, if you think that is benefiting for him, you can say yes. You go ahead with it. So attending an interview is actually, or attending or getting an interview is depends on not only one factors. Okay, if I'm very much, I have a lot of skills, I have a lot of good CG, everything is there, but still chances of getting a particular interview may be, there is a chance I may not get an interview. So attending an interview is actually building your interview skills. You just go and attend, and you need to perform whatever you have it's not doesn't mean that suddenly you are injecting something more too confident. Is whatever you have whatever you have learned, or still you have some time to prepare, you prepare that and just go and attend. Getting that interview depends a lot of other factors that you cannot predict today, but still you need to think, yes, you need to think positive. I may get this interview if you are really wish to get in that one. So you can say yes, you can go ahead.
So moving to the next one, sir. Why do we give so much importance to our recent achievements or failures, almost completely ignoring the past incidents? So why do generally we give so much importance to our recent achievements or failures, almost completely ignoring the past incidents?
I understand. Okay, this is actually, I can tell you a small example based on this. We have seen a couple of students, actually they are reporting to us that, I mean the counseling session too. So actually I was actually very good student at my school. I'm a state winner. Okay, I have a ranks and everything. Still, my first standard onwards, he's actually the best student in the class. Okay, and after this 10th and 12th, then JE examination, he got a secure, he got a very good score. Okay, once they came back to our campus, or they have some come across, they couldn't able to perform the same kind of how they were in before. Okay, so they are also thinking like, sir, actually I'm very disturbed about my current academic status. I cannot focus anything, so I am a complete failure. Okay, but this same student also itself is, yes, I was a very good student, I have a lot of skills, everything is there, yes, I need to give much attention on it, but still I'm getting the thought about I'm not actually doing good at that. Here you need to understand one thing. The student is feeling that I'm not actually studying well. Okay, if he is not studying well, if he thinking that this is actually bad about me, then he need to work on it. If he thinking that I'm okay with this, I'm happy with this life, it's fine, not an issue. But if he thinking, yes, I need to work hard, that's what I'm here, I need to study, then he need to find studies. If something is not working, he need to work. I told earlier, we need to work on the problem solving strategies. Where are you lacking? Why you were very strong before? What is actually lacking at present? You think that you are not getting much pressure on studying, or you think that nobody is asking you to study? Okay, so we need to work on it. So in this way, we have to work. It doesn't, because we will get, if you are in a recent failure, definitely you will get a lot of negative thoughts associated with it. That we cannot avoid it. Thoughts is also one of the important specialty. Thoughts we cannot avoid. Thoughts simply will come. Only the question is whether you need to take it or not take it. Okay, if these thoughts are coming up, if these thoughts are relevant to you, or you need to work on it, you need to you need to work on it, then you need to work on it. Otherwise, you can sad about it. This is the answer for this.
Thank you, sir. Because of time constraints, we are just moving to our last question. I would like to request other participants, whosoever have any questions, please write all those queries to straight away to my email, and we'll try to forward all those queries to our speaker and get back to you. So, sir, how do we find our purpose in our life? There are always conflict between what we are doing and what we like to do.
Okay. This is actually a very important question that someone is asked. I don't know who actually asked. Okay, very important question. Okay, purpose in life is actually, it's not like you are defining your purpose today. It's not like that. Okay, and sometimes your purpose in life is actually, maybe I can say, you need to search your meaning in your life. You need to search on it. During this journey, for example, I want to become a pilot or I want to become a doctor, but I am somehow, definitely I want to become a doctor, so I'm in an engineering field. So this is not my area of research. Or I want to be a musician, but this is currently I'm working on completely out of this. Okay, so education is actually one of the important aspects. The way you are giving meaning about your education. Yes, I am doing this job, I am doing this studies for this particular job. That's what I actually have taken this job. I mean, taken this kind of specific course. Then this will create a conflict. But someone is thinking, yes, I want to be a musician. So the person is going to the college, because when he goes to the college only, he's getting a lot of opportunity to develop his music skills, a lot of opportunity, he make connections with different people, everything is there. So this is actually open forum. He can himself is actually more creative in music compared to his friends. So college and studies is actually the primary thing. What you're learning from there. For example, someone is actually mining engineering department at present, he wanted to be a computer science department. So this kind of conflict will happen, because the courses what I have got it at present, the courses or a particular subject what I'm studying now might not be that you really like it, that I understand that. But there, nowadays most of the courses are, is actually, in my understanding is actually there is a scope for multidisciplinary. Okay, so you in future somehow you can work on it if it is in academics, or if you wanted to develop other skills, just like in a sports or arts or any other things. And education is actually going to a college and learning something is not, it will not stopping you, you can learn everything, you will get a lot of opportunities there. So purpose in life or meaning in life is actually somehow you will realize after a couple of years. It's not like suddenly you are realizing at present. So it will happen one day.
So, thank you very much, sir. Concluding the session, today's session, on behalf of Snehita Wellbeing Cell, I would like to share my heartiest gratitude and thanks to Dr. Abir, our speaker, for his comprehensive and splendid presentation. It was really an enriching experience in understanding the concept of resilience, the 5 factors of well-being, managing the automatic thoughts, and coming back techniques as well.